Hi there, welcome to today's Deck Tech. Having a break from the wonderful world of Lost Caverns of Ixalan today. I think I've exhausted my brain on Lost Caverns at the moment over the last couple of weeks, so wait till the set releases now next Thursday, whatever it is. What are we on? 16th, I think, on mtgo, when I'll start backing up on covering some of the legends I haven't already covered. So for the next few videos, so starting today, last video of the week for me, and then the ones next week, going to go back over some of the cards that I haven't covered before and I've seen played recently, or things I just haven't got round to covering that I've enjoyed playing over the years. And today is very much one of those days, because obviously today is all about Riku of the Two Reflections. For those of you who don't know, 2 green, blue and red for a 2/2 human wizard, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery you may pay red and blue and copy it. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may play green and blue and copy it, or get a token copy of it. Riku was one of the very first commanders I think I came up against on mtgo. At that time, I think Riku was kicking around as something ridiculously high value cost in real life. That really kind of put it, I thought, put out of my reach on mtgo. It wasn't until very, very recently, like 5-6 months ago, that I realised that Riku is dirt cheap on mtgo, and yeah, this promo version is even cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So I've had Riku sitting in my collection for a while now. I've never really built the deck around it. I had some time, kind of in a lull as we're waiting for the set to release. I thought, right, now's the time to do Riku. So if you've got Riku, or you're thinking about picking up Riku on mtgo, I think this is how you should build the deck. As usual, for one of my deck techs, we'll start with the lands. Blue, red and green lands everywhere you want to. A couple of special lands. The first one, Alchemist Refuge. We do want to play our spells whenever we feel like it, even if they have flash. Hopefully we'll have enough mana to do it with. Broker's Hideout, Cabaretti Courtyard are here. Just go and find some of the basic lands. We are playing 4 forests, 4 islands and 4 mountains, just so we do have enough basics included. And also got Maestro's Theatre here to go and get something else. Tiny bit of life gain, but it might help. Beyond that, the only thing's really worthwhile pointing out is we do have Temple of the False God in here. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth is here, along with Reliquary Tower, to make everything a little bit more equal. I have included Field of the Dead. You can take this out quite happily, but I've included it just so I get some more creatures in play, because my creature count's a bit low for my happiness. Let's go with happiness. But at the end of the day, we should be able to get some 2/2 zombies out with this. Mana ramp wise, not too much. Tank to Light, Talisman, Soul Ring, somewhere down here, Arcane Signet, and then one of each of the medallions, since they're becoming really cheap on mtgo at the moment. In real life, if I ever get around to picking up a Riku in real life and building this in real life, these will probably become one of each of the diamonds, because they're just cheaper. Again, if you don't want to spend that sort of money on mtgo, because the medallions are sort of like a couple of tickets each, you can quite happily put one of each diamond in. I think you'll be fine. Beyond that, it's a kind of selection of cards you'd expect to see. Bear in mind that we want to try and ramp as much as we can, then start copying things. But there are some things that help us out along the way. So Explorations here, so we can play an additional land each turn. Elixir of Immortality lets us shuffle everything back in that gets destroyed, or used up, or copied. One thing I will note about Riku, if you do copy a spell you don't exile, it still goes to your graveyard, so Elixir of Immortality can be quite useful in this deck. Joint Exploration does a bit of scrying, a bit of drawing, and then you really want to hold off and cast it for 3 mana at some stage. You can get the kicker and put the extra land in play, which you hopefully found. I'm not making any excuses for it. Dockside Extortionist is in this deck. We have got red mana. We need treasures. Dockside appears. Scalding Viper is one of the new cards from Wilds of Eldraine that I think fits in this deck even better than some of the other ones. This one's really nice because in Commander most people are still playing spells that cost 3 or less, so they're going to be taking some damage. To help us in that vein, Bramble Familiar is another one that I think is quite nice, especially if you can copy. If you've got 9 mana kicking around, you copy this, you are going to get ahead a little bit. So you'd mill 7, put a creature or enchantment or land card from the mill cards onto the battlefield, so that's nice. Obviously, Elixir of Immortality, make sure you don't mill away anything too badly. And then you get a little bit of mana ramp, and you get to save it and return it to your hand, do it again if you need to. Yeah, I think it's very good in here. Don't know if it's being played regularly in here, but I decided to include it in my one. Explore, just for an extra land draw cycling type thing. Farseek is here to go and fetch out some of our special lands that we have. No, I'm really looking at Ketria Trio, really, for Farseek, just so we're clear. Heroic Intervention protects us from anything happening to our creatures from permanents we have. Questing Druid, get to exile the top 2, and then it starts getting bigger with all the other spells we play that aren't green. Rampant Growth, go and get the basic land we're missing. Rattleclaw Mystic, a perfect mana dork for this deck because it has all 3 colours in it. And if we can flip it over, we get, it costs us 1 mana overall to flip it, and we get 1 of each colour. So it does kind of help. Goblin Electromancer makes our instants of sorceries cost less, which means we might have more mana kicking around to do the copying. And Archomancer does the same with red or green spells, cost 1 less, which means we should have the mana around to do the doubling. Nice. Coiling Oracle, nice target for our doubling creature effect to get the extra land or extra card in our hand. Growth Spiral, draw, put a land into play. Then there are the Lightning Greaves, and a little bit further down, the Boots to protect Riku when we get there. 3 drops, Mystic Study, because if there was ever a deck we want to be drawing cards, it's this one. Theoretical Duplication is quite nice if you've got an opponent who's playing a big beatdown deck, and I'm expecting we're going to be seeing a lot of them over the next few weeks. Once the Lost Caverns of Ixalan hits, you're going to see the dinosaur decks, you're going to see vampire decks. They're going to be casting a lot of creatures each turn, I think, and Theoretical Duplication might be a good answer to this. So pick one up now while you can. It comes into play when you cast it. It's an instant, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control this turn, create a token as a copy of that creature. Copying some of their dinosaurs or just holding on to their back to copy something big could give you the win. Bear it in mind. Fiery Inscription from Lord of the Rings comes into this deck, I believe, now. The ring tempting us, meh, whatever. But casting instants of sorceries and shocking each opponent, in addition to whatever you get from the instant sorcery, is pretty good to my mind. Dualcaster Mage, copy an instant or sorcery on the stack. Beast Within, blow up the thing that's annoying us. Yes, they get a beast, but we'll blow it up anyway. Cultivate Kodoma's Reach, goes and gets our basic land count out. Reclamation Sage gives us another thing that's great to copy to blow up some annoying artifacts or enchantments. Wood Elves, an eternal Wood Elves gives us back, goes and fetches a forest out of our library. Breeding Pill springs to mind as a possibility. Eternal Witness, returns something. We all know what this does. Guided Passage. I decided to have a bit of fun with this. I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't looked to see how much this is going for, well, if this is played anywhere else. But it's just like, reveal the cards in your library. Make an opponent choose one land, one creature, one non-creature card, and they get to put it in your hand. Yeah, okay then. If I copy it and do it twice, I'm getting 6 cards for 3 mana. Well, 5 mana if I count the copy cost. Yeah, that I can cope with. Yeah, that's pretty good. Timor Ascendancy just gives all our creatures haste, and anything that has power 4 or more, and we don't have that many. We have a few, but not many. Get to draw a card with, so that's fine. It's just the haste ability. Another one, Duplication. Copy one of our own creatures, even one of our legendary ones if we want to, that we're coming to, and we get a token copy of it that's flying and isn't legendary. Sakashima of 1,000 Faces lets us copy another creature we control, except it isn't, loses the legendary thing, so it's really nice when we start copying some of the things we've got coming up. Spark Double does a bit of copying, makes it bigger, again isn't legendary, so that's nice if we're copying a legendary. Wizards of Thay make all instant sorceries cost less, and then it's got Myriaded, so if you attack with it, and you can do some instant spell casting, well, any spell casting, since this gives us the ability to cast sorceries though they had flash during combat, and you've still got 3 opponents, you're going to have a reduction of 3 mana. Pretty good value. Court of Vantress, just another way of getting another copy of something happening if we need it to. If we're the Monarch, it's even better, so we get a token copy instead of the Court of Vantress becoming it. Mythos of Illunia, another way of copying something. Create a token as a copy of a permanent. If red and green was spent to cast this spell, create a token as a copy of that permanent, except this token has, when this permanent enters the battlefield, if it's a creature, it fights up to one type creature you don't control. Okay then. Yeah, okay. Copy the biggest creature on the board. Yes, sir. Right. Authorion lets us copy one of our creatures. It gains haste and we sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step, which is nice. Or, you know, pay 9 mana, we get 5 copies of it. Okay. Stormkiln Artisan. We've got basically no real ways of generating treasures apart from casting instant sorceries when this is in play. Apart from Dockside, of course. But, you know, that's fine. Cast an instant or sorcery, get a treasure. Cope with that. Court of Embereth gives us a night creature which we get to copy. Because we've got parallel lives in the deck. Just a little bit of nod to copying. You could go down the whole route and play, you know, doubling seas and so on and so forth. I just went with parallel lives for this because why not? Wilderness Wreck panics our opponents because we untap all the lands we control, which is quite nice if we want to do things with Alchemist's Refuge. Timeless Witness gives another way of bringing things back from our graveyard, which is fine. 1 Planeswalker, 1 nod to them. Ral Storm Conduit is here just to do a little bit of damage when we cast our instant sorceries. And, you know, +2, scry 1 or -2 and do the copy of the next instant sorcery spell could help. Adrex and Niv, the Twin Casters. I want another way of copying things that wasn't parallel lives, especially the tokens we're going to be playing, so this made sense to me. And Solemn Sim, bit more ramp, another basic land, all good. Muldrifter. Evoke it. What I will say is if you evoke it, and if I remember my rulings correctly, you can pay the 2 to evoke it, pay the green and the blue to copy it, and you get to keep the copy permanent in play. This one will go, the copied one will stay in play, you'll get 4 cards. Thank you very much. Sphinx of the Clear Skies, one of our win conditions I've put in. Deals combat damage for player, reveals the top 3 cards of your library, because that's what you'll have basic land wise, is the only domain we've got. And opponent separates those cards in 2 piles. We get 1 in our hand, 1 in our graveyard. That's fine. Terror of the Peaks, perfect copying target. This is how we're going to win the game, probably with using the damage we get off this. Seedborn Muse helps us untap everything. Consecrated Sphinx means we draw more, which is why Reliquary Tower is so important in the deck. And Gruff Triplets. Something we want to play after we've got Parallel Lives or Adrex and Nev in play. Yeah. People are starting to understand the power of the triplets in Commander, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it over the next few months. So pick them up now, maybe. They're cheap. They're not. They're like 0.03 of a ticket. I think when I picked mine up, might be worth picking a couple up. Might make a little bit on them. 1,000 Year Storm. We have quite a few instant sorceries. We can get some copies. I'm happy with that. Thank you very much. Swarm Intelligence, whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, you may copy that spell, you may choose new copies, targets for it. A little bit pricey, but we are copying things, and yeah, this does what we pay Riku to do, without having to pay apart from the 7 mana to get it in play in the first place. So, yeah, okay, they can sit on the battlefield, do nothing. The win ones are here, Avenger Zendikar and Avika Enigma Goliath are what I'm classing as the 2 main win conditions in the deck. You want to make sure you're casting the Avenger with Riku out, and so you can copy it and get a whole load of plant tokens and then play some lands. Same with Avikia. You just want to have this out and start casting non-creature spells and getting the goblins in play. Really lovely little thing if you've got Avikia out and you've copied it with Shakasima or the Spark Double and you've got multiple copies. My giddy aunt, you get some goblins very quickly, which will overrun the board, especially with things like Adrix and Eth and Parallel Lives out. Works really well. But that's it. That's my little take on Riku of the 2 reflections. I may give this a run out on the stream tonight. Depending when you're watching this, it'll be either Thursday morning, Wednesday evening. So the Thursday night stream this week, you'll probably see Riku have a run out. But if you don't, I'll play it as soon as possible on stream and you can come see me then. But thanks for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video sometime soon. Take care. Bye.